The legacy wing of the WWE Hall of Fame was built for guys like Frank Gotch, a wrestler from 1908. So tell me, why the hell is Sycho Sid, a two-time WWE Champion who main evented WrestleMania, belong in the same category as men he shares 0 eras with, 0 moments in the company that is doing this honor? Because he doesn't. But anyway, welcome to the Tea Drop Strong Brew, no soft behavior. We are talking about the 2026 Hall of Fame, first the announcement and now induction for Sycho Sid. It was finally the right honor. It's been taking years for this to happen, but it was wrapped in the wrong presentation. Why do I say that? Because Sycho Sid, in my opinion, got the wrong wing. And why everyone watching this needs to understand the difference between the main wing and the legacy wing of the WWE Hall of Fame. Because once you know the difference, you might be as heated as I am. So let's get rolling to it. So a quick recap. On March 24th of this year, WWE confirmed Sycho Sid, Sid Vicious, whichever way you call him, is going to the Hall of Fame class of 2026. Then on April 6th, his son, Gunnar Eudy, drops the details on Facebook, and I quote, "There will be no acceptance speech because they are putting him in the legacy wing. We will just be in the crowd," which exactly what happened. Gunnar kept it classy. Where is it? There you go. He kept it classy. He said Sid's fans would rather see a video package than two strangers talking. I guess that's a son protecting his dad's respect, but we're not going to let WWE off the hook with that grace, because the problem isn't that Sid wasn't in, or isn't that Sid is in, if that's the best way to say it. The problem is where they put him. So here's the deal. Sid isn't going in, what didn't go in as part of the main class. He's going in through the legacy wing. And on April 6th, his Sid son, clarified what that actually means, because everyone was talking about, well, the legacy wing is meant for this, but his son clarified it for WWE's sake. He posted on Facebook and he said there will be, like I said, no acceptance because he's in the legacy wing. Now, Gunnar, credit to him, he kept it classy. He said it, that we would have been honored to give a speech, but at the same time, anyway, he said that they changed the legacy wing. That's what they were telling him. Sorry, I overrolled myself. Let me just clarify. I'm going to walk you through what most people don't know about these two wings, apparently, after I did more look into this. The WWE Hall of Fame has two different ways to enter the Hall of Fame. Put the celebrity part to the side. There's the main Hall of Fame, which is what most people are looking forward to. Then that's the individual inductees. That's usually the tag team inductees. For this year, we got Stephanie McMahon going in. We got AJ Styles going in. Hogan went through there. Flair, Austin, Taker, Shawn, you name it, we have it. 100 plus individual inductees at this point since the thing started in 1993. But part of the main wing, usually they have you get a presenter who presents the inductee. You get a full video package. You get a live acceptance speech in front of the crowd, whether they do it in a stage or they've done in the past in a ring. They get an ovation. They get a moment. That's what a regular Hall of Fame induction is like. You get then there's number 2. There's the legacy wing. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because when WWE created the legacy wing a few years ago, it was back in 2016. You already knew who the founding inductees are, which is Frank Gotch, George Hackenschmidt, and Lou Tesh, Mildred Burke, look her up, and Pat O'Connor, Ed Lewis, and R. Thomas. Damn, that's a lot of people. Now, Frank Gotch wrestled in 1908, before television, before Vince Sr. even was part of wrestling, before a pay-per-view was invented, before business was even business as we know it. The legacy wing was designed, by design, it was designed for pioneers from eras nobody alive today watched live. The whole point of the legacy wing was to point and honor men and women who shaped the business, but those moments can't be replayed because there's no film, there's no records besides maybe some images and his writing. So for that, obviously there's no video package. No speech, nothing whatsoever. And usually they've used this for people outside of WWE, but people who they believe should be honored because they provided memorable achievements for the wrestling business. Usually it's also for people that are not able to do a video package or not even give a speech, because there's no one alive who can give firsthand speech about how Frank Gotch wrestled or anything behind that. It was a structural decision. At first, it made sense for those from 1908 or even before WWE became WWE as we know it. It does not make sense for a man or a woman like Luna Vachon to be not inducted in the main wing. It doesn't make sense for a man who wrestled The Undertaker on a live pay-per-view in 1997. So how did Sid end up in the wrong wing? Here's the quiet part WWE ain't saying out loud. On March 28th of this year, 4 days after they announced Sid, the Wrestling Observer newsletter drops a more understanding story about this whole situation between main wing and legacy wing. WWE, and I quote Dave Meltzer and his team, they quietly revamp how the legacy wing category works. They said, going forward, the focus is on honoring stars who have passed away, helping streamline the overall Hall of Fame ceremony. And I'll read that again. It's not a new criteria for the legacy wing. It's basically wait till they check if you died or something. Did you die? That's it. That's the whole qualifier now for the legacy wing. They're not asking, did this person main event WrestleMania? They're not even asking if you obtained titles, not only in WWE, but in other companies like WCW. They don't care you're a 2-time world champion. They're asking very simply, are they still breathing? And if the answer is no, they get streamlined into the legacy wing, which is a fancy word for shorter, cheaper, off the main card of the Hall of Fame. So Sid isn't in the legacy wing because his career was a footnote. Sid is in the legacy wing because he's posthumous. That is the huge difference, and it's the difference nobody's talking about. It's honestly it's BS. The reason I call it a BS because they have honored people who have died. Macho Man Randy Savage, he got posthumous induction. So did Eddie Guerrero, right? Who else got a posthumous? A few. But they were still part of the main Hall of Fame. They weren't put in the legacy wing. This was a recent revamp that they did. So let's do the work WWE didn't do. And we'll run Sid's induction through the 3 R's that we learned from Nick Khan. Ratings, revenue, relevancy. The same way we run any main wing candidate. So let's go with ratings. WrestleMania 8 main event, opposite of Hulk Hogan. WrestleMania 13 main event, opposite of The Undertaker. Why would this guy who main evented these 2 matches get the same category as a guy from 1908? And the answer is simple. Revenue. 2 WWE title reigns, 2 WCW World Heavyweight title reigns. He main event pay-per-view draws on both sides of the Monday Night War. He moved houses. He moved merch. Relevancy. The powerbomb, still one of the most iconic finishers in wrestling. Kids who weren't born, probably when Sid retired in 2001, might still know the visual. Look at this year's main wing. Stephanie McMahon, 1 women's title, main wing. Dennis Rodman, celebrity wing. He gets a full spotlight. He gets a full speech. By the way, horrible speech. Dennis Rodman did the most horrible speech ever. The guy looked like he was high when he was speaking. Demolition, group induction, full stage, beloved tag team. But again, no world titles. They were tag team champs. They deserve the respect. But again, what's one more spot for just putting this guy in the main wing? But whatever. These are all correct calls though. Minus Dennis Rodman, but whatever. I'm not going to talk about that. No shade at all. But Sid, between the 2 companies that he worked at, he had 4 world titles on the 2 biggest companies in that time in history. He gets the abbreviated video package, which is fine, but he should have still been labeled as a main wing. But that's me, because the math ain't mathing. He is not a legacy inductee. That's a main wing inductee. WWE reclassified this whole thing with the legacy wing because the presentation is cheaper when the honorary can't walk out. And here's what makes this really sting for me. Gunnar Eudy deserved to at least the same way as Hogan's son when they did the iconic moment or whatever immortal moment for WrestleMania 3 between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. Both Andre the Giant's kid and Hulk Hogan's kid were in the ring with Jimmy Hart presenting that immortal moment. So how come they get the moment, but Gunnar Eudy didn't get the deserving moment to at least stand at the podium, accept the honorary, and walk out? And I'm not saying it because WWE owed the family favor, but more because that's how the main wing should work, to at least these big honorees. When a wrestler passes before induction, the family usually gave the speech in the past. Randy Savage's brother, Eddie Guerrero's widow, obviously Roddy Piper, no, take that back. All of them before that got a main wing treatment. They just had someone talk on their behalf, and it's usually a shorter speech. And maybe you have less time than a regular inductee because you're not the actual person, which is fair. But all of them got the walkout, the video, and a somewhat of a speech. Why does Sid get less? Sid passed in August of 2024. Quiet cancer fight. He didn't do anything farewell tour. He didn't get a send off like Flair and Taker got. His son is though put in a memorial show in Memphis, West Memphis, on August 29th. And he said the profits would go to the local dog shelter. That's who Sid was off screen. And WWE's answer to that is legacy, to help streamline the ceremony. Play a video package, have the family sit in the crowd. Nah, man, the man earned some type of bigger earning than that. He earned something more. He should have had at least Gunnar standing, had a bit of the microphone, talk a little bit about his father. Just give the ovation that he deserved as his career highlighted. That's what the main event wing is for, but it is what it is. Bottom line is, the Legacy Wing was built for pre-WWE era wrestlers like Frank Gotch, not Sycho Sid. Sid belonged at the main event podium. Sid belonged with a live speech from someone that can speak on his behalf. And Sid belonged with Gunnar at the microphone telling the world who his dad really was, especially for younger fans who don't know anything about Sycho Sid. They could have learned. And the only reason he's didn't get that treatment is because WWE changed the rules in the post-pandemic to streamline posthumous inductees into a quieter wing. To me, that's not an honor. That's just them trying to be efficient. If that's the case, just eliminate the Legacy Wing. Just put everyone in the main wing. So I'm dropping the question to you. Should WWE move Sid to the main wing or let it be? They should have given Gunnar the speech. I mean, this video is a little too late, but it is what it is. Or do you guys think the Legacy Wing video package is enough for Sid? Thanks for watching. If the T hit right, hit the like button and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.